Fine, ma'am. How are you?
Fine. I'm also good. Okay, come on, quickly switch on your video. Let's start today's class. Now, in whatever I've taught you in the previous class, did you people have any difficulties?
No,
No,
ma'am.
ma'am.
Okay, very good. All right. Were you able to solve the questions that were given to you?
Ma'am, I have to.
You did not receive any questions?
No, ma'am, I
Ma'am, no.
received.
Have to
But
go through the questions.
All right. Okay. So now I'll get you caught up because, today we're going to start. You will be joining the batch that has already been going on, right? So first we will start. I'll give you how the kingdom system of classification came into existence. Now, originally, there were two kingdom classification. It was given by Carolus Linnaeus. And Carolus Linnaeus is also known as the father of taxonomy. Now, he gave the two kingdoms, kingdom Animalia and kingdom Plantae. Okay, and the characters that he took into consideration were cell wall, locomotion, mode of nutrition, and the response to external stimuli. So this was two kingdom classification. After this came the three kingdom classification. Now, the three kingdom classification was given by Ernst Haeckel in the year 1866. And he added a third kingdom, like apart from kingdom Animalia and kingdom Plantae, a third kingdom was added, which was the kingdom Protista, which consisted of all the unicellular eukaryotic organisms. Then came the four kingdom classification. A fourth kingdom was added, which was kingdom Monera. This kingdom was added by Copeland, a person named Copeland, in the year 1956. Now, do you people know what is the difference between prokaryotes and eukaryotes? Hmm? What is the difference between prokaryotes and eukaryotes?
um, prokaryotes are
Prokaryotes have?
single-celled organisms.
Okay. And
Uh,
the main difference, it's not about the number of cells. The main difference. What is the main difference between prokaryotes and eukaryotes? See, the prokaryotic organisms are those organisms that have, like, their nucleus is not surrounded by any membrane, and they do not also have the membrane bound organelle. So these things are absent in prokaryotes. Talking about the eukaryotes, these are the organisms that have the membrane bound nucleus and the cell organelle. Now, after the four kingdom classification came the five kingdom classification, and this is the most accepted kingdom of classification, that is five kingdom, and it is given by R.H. Whittaker in the year 1969. In this, there is the kingdom Monera, then Protista, kingdom Fungi, Plantae, and Animalia. Total five kingdoms are there. Now, the five criteria or the characteristics that were took into consideration were the cell structure, whether the organism is actually the prokaryotic organism and the eukaryotic organism, whether the cell wall is present or not, whether the nuclear membrane is present or not, the body organization, and lastly, the mode of nutrition. Apart from all of these things, another characteristics was taken, well, that is phylogeny, that is evolutionary history. So these are all the characters that were taken into consideration and then gave five different kingdoms. And what are the kingdoms? The kingdoms are Kingdom Monera, Kingdom Protista, Kingdom Fungi, Kingdom Plantae, and Animalia. This is the sequence, and these are the total 5 kingdoms. Clear? Any doubts up until now?
No, ma'am.
Okay. Now let us talk about the first kingdom, that is the Kingdom Monera. Now the Kingdom Monera, all the members of the Kingdom Monera are bacteria. Most, like majority of the members of this kingdom, they are bacteria. They are simplest and the most abundant microorganism. They are very simple. Like their body is just one cell, but they are very abundant. Abundant means that they are present everywhere in the world. They are the most primitive. I've written primitive. It will be primitive. So they are the most primitive organisms and they are the most abundant organisms. Primitive means they were the first organisms to ever be present on the earth. That is what primitive means. Okay, now they are the first inhabitants of earth. First inhabitants of earth means when the earth was formed, then they were the first organisms to ever come and live on the earth. First inhabitants, okay? And they occur everywhere, meaning they are present in hot springs, they are present in deserts, they are present in snow, deep in the ocean, and even in a handful of soil. So bacteria, they are very diverse and they are present everywhere. Now, bacteria are metabolically diverse, meaning even though they are very simple organisms, their metabolism is very, you can say, active and it is very diverse. Diverse means there is a lot of variety. Now, talking about the characteristics of Monera. Now, see, the Monerans can either be unicellular when they are just made up of one cell. This case. Okay, they are unicellular when they just have one cell. They can be colonial when several cells come together and form a colony. That becomes a colonial type. And then they can be filamentous. Filament means anything that is like a strand. So when bacteria can be arranged in this manner, so it looks like a strand or a line, then that is a filamentous type of Monera. Clear? Now, another thing, if you are studying cell chapter, you might have heard about nucleolus, histone proteins, all of these things. So these are absent in the kingdom Monera. They do not have this thing. Now, why? Because they don't have a membrane surrounding the nucleus because they are prokaryotic organisms. So see, what happens is that if this is a cell, okay, and this is a nucleus. Now, inside the nucleus, the genetic material of the organism is present. The genetic material means DNA. Okay. Now, if they do not have the nuclear membrane, so it means that their genetic material is present in the cell, right? It is scattered in the cell. It is not enclosed in any boundary. So, this is what it means by the DNA is scattered in the cell. Now, the nucleoid. See, nucleoid is the genetic material of the bacteria or the monerans. It is either DNA, RNA, and non-histone proteins. Like higher organisms, they have histone proteins present, but they have non-histone proteins. Is it clear? Any doubts up until now?
No, ma'am.
Okay. Now, talking about this thing. The monerans, if they are divided on the basis of the shape. Okay, on the basis of the shape, the bacteria can be of 4 types. They can be coccus if they are spherical in shape, sort of like this. Spherical is a coccus shape. Then they can be rod shape, that is known as bacillus. It is a rod shape. It is the most common form. Like bacteria, most of the bacteria exist in the bacillus or the rod shape. Then there is vibrium, which is comma shape. Okay, it is the bacteria looks like a comma. And lastly, there is spirillum, that is spiral shaped bacteria. So the bacteria, depending upon the shape, they can be of 4 types. That is coccus, bacillus, vibrium, and spirillum. Now, after that,
Ma'am,
Now, yes,
ma'am, for biology, how many lessons will be there for this 11th standard?
for 11th class,
Yes, ma'am.
there are many chapters actually. Uh, do you have your book lying with you?
Ma'am, there are around 20 chapters, I guess.
How many?
20.
Okay, so 20 chapters are there in which you have the living world, biological classification, plant kingdom, animal kingdom, then there is morphology, anatomy, cell cycle. Many chapters are there. Why? What happened?
No, ma'am,
You
I
need a
was.
list?
No, I'm going to change from PCMB to PCB. That's why.
Oh, okay. You right now you are PCMB. You have maths
That,
also.
yes, ma'am. So I have to change.
Okay. Okay. And Hashil, what about you? You are PCB or PCMB?
Ma'am, PCB.
Okay. Is maths hard? You're with 11th maths?
Ma'am, I don't like to study maths. That's why.
Oh, because I did not take maths either, but I have heard students say that mathematics of class 11th is a little harder. Isn't it?
Yes,
Is it the case?
it's hard.
No, biology is like not that hard. It is lengthy, but it's not that hard. And I'll make it easy for you. So don't worry about that. Even if you
Okay, ma'am.
find it hard, I'll make it easy. Okay.
Okay.
So now see, mostly, as I told you, that the nucleus in the prokaryotic organisms, they are not surrounded by any nuclear membrane, right? So if the nuclear membrane is not there, so the content of the nucleus is naked. Naked means they do not have a covering on it. So the DNA of the Monera is naked DNA. Instead of a nucleus, nucleoid is present in them. The DNA is circular and double stranded. The DNA is circular and it is double stranded, meaning two strands of DNA are there. The cell wall is present in the kingdom Monera and it is made up of peptidoglycan. Okay, just like how the cell wall of the plants. Do you people know what is the cell wall of plants made up of? Plant cell wall is made up of what? Tell me. The plant cell wall is made up of cellulose. Okay. Same way, the cell wall has to be composed of something. So in the case of bacteria, okay, in the case of kingdom Monera, the cell wall is made up of peptidoglycan. Clear?
Yes,
It
ma'am.
is made up of peptidoglycan. Now, peptidoglycan is made up of actually amino acid and sugar. Okay, amino acid along with the sugar makes a peptidoglycan. Now, the cell wall is present in all the monerals. All the members of the monera, they have the cell wall present in them except for archaebacteria and mycoplasma. These two are the groups of bacteria that do not have the cell wall present in them. Now, after that, the ribosomes, the protein factory are of 70 S types in the case of kingdom Monera, 70 S type. The reproduction is asexual. You people know the difference between sexual and asexual reproduction?
Yes, ma'am.
Tell me quickly what is the difference?
Ma'am, in asexual, only one parent is involved, but in sexual, two parents are involved.
Very good. Correct. Exactly. So asexual reproduction is present. And talking about the nutrition in them. See, some of the members of Kingdom Monera, they can be autotrophic, meaning they can make their own food. And the others are heterotrophic, meaning they cannot make their own food. Right? Now, if they are autotrophic, so they can be of two types. Photosynthetic autotrophic and chemosynthetic autotrophic. Photosynthetic means they use the light energy to make their food, and chemosynthetic means they use chemical energy to make their food. Now talking about the heterotrophic mode of nutrition, it is divided into further three types. That is saprotrophic, symbiotic and parasitic. This is the mode of nutrition wherein they cannot make their own food. So they are dependent upon the other organism for their nutrition. Is it clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Any doubts up until now?
No, ma'am.
No, ma'am.
Let me check one thing. Okay, you people do one thing, since the time is very less and the batch will be starting. So you take screenshot of this because there's no time to note down. So you first take screenshots, but you have to note it down later on. Just for now, you can take the screenshot. First, you take the screenshot of this thing. Done. Hmm? Done.
Yes, ma'am.
Then you take the screenshot of this page. I would have given you time to write down, but if I give you time to write, then the topic that I have to cover will be left. So, and apart from that, you take a screenshot of this also. After this, tell me when you're done so that I'll scroll.
Done, ma'am. Done, ma'am. Done, ma'am. Done, ma'am.
Okay, this much you've understood, student?
Yes,
Do you
ma'am.
people have any doubts up until now? No doubts? Now see. The kingdom Monera can actually be divided into two other groups, that is the Archaebacteria and the Eubacteria. Now, these are the different groups of bacteria. Talking about the Archaebacteria, so these are the ones that can survive in harsh conditions. They can survive in like various harsh conditions, such as high salt concentration, meaning they can live in areas that have higher salt concentration, and those organisms are known as halophiles. Okay, halophiles. Then there are some of the archaebacteria that can live in the hot springs, like the hot water bodies. So they are known as thermoacidophiles. Then there are some of the archaebacteria that live in the marshy areas, and they are known as the methanogens. They can produce methane, and mostly they are also present in the gut, in the stomach or the digestive system of animals such as cows and buffaloes. So they can produce methane gas. Okay, so these like halophiles, thermoacidophiles, methanogens, they are the most, you can say, extreme habitat living organisms, and they come under the group that is archaebacteria. Now tell me one thing, is the cell wall present in archaebacteria or not? Yes, I can provide you with the PDF. Don't worry about it. I'll provide you with the PDF. First, you tell me this thing. The archaebacteria, do they have a cell wall? Yes or no?
Ma'am, could you please explain it again once more?
The question.
No, ma'am. The thermo acid.
Yeah, see, depending upon where they live, okay, they actually live in harsh environments, harsh conditions. Because of that, for example, the different types of archaebacteria are halophiles, thermoacidophiles, and methanogens. Now, halophiles are those organisms that live in high salt concentrations. Thermoacidophiles are those that live in hot springs, the hot water bodies. And then there is the methanogens that live in the marshy areas, and they are also present in the intestine or the digestive system or the gut of animals such as cows and buffaloes. And they produce a gas which is known as methane. So these three types of, you can say, archaebacteria are present, and they live in the extreme habitat or extreme conditions, and they are the archaebacteria. Now, what the question I was asking is that, do archaebacteria have cell wall? Yes or no? Tell me, students, I just now taught you. Do they have cell wall? Yes or no?
Yes.
They don't. See, all the monerans, they have the cell wall. But archaebacteria, they do not have the cell wall. Because of that only, they can actually survive in such harsh conditions. Okay? Is it clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Is the screen visible to you people?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Now, the next group that comes under the kingdom Monera is the eubacteria. See, U means true. So these bacteria are the true bacteria. They have a rigid cell wall present, and they are motile. They have a flagella present. So they have two structures present in them. The first is the rigid cell wall. A proper cell wall is present, which is absent in archaebacteria. But here a proper cell wall is present. Apart from that, flagella is present. And this flagella is motile. Because of the presence of flagella, they can move. Now, these are photosynthetic autotrophs, meaning the mode of nutrition, the way they can procure nutrition is through photosynthesis, because they have the pigment chlorophyll A present in them. Okay, so that is why they are autotrophic in nutrition. Is it clear? Now, all those organisms that come under the eubacteria that have chlorophyll A present in them, they are the cyanobacteria, or we can also call them as the blue-green algae. Cyanobacteria or the blue-green algae. Now, to discuss about the cyanobacteria, it is unicellular, colonial, and again filament. According to the habitat, the cyanobacteria can be freshwater organism when they live in the water that does not have any salt concentration. They can be marine water organism, meaning such as in the sea and the ocean, and they can be terrestrial or land organisms. So depending upon the habitat or where they live, they can be of various types. Now, cyanobacteria, whenever they are present in a colony, just a second, I don't know what is happening. Is my screen visible, students?
No, ma'am.
Okay, wait. Is it visible now?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Okay, so what I was saying is that whenever the cyanobacteria will be present in a colony, okay, so those colony will be surrounded by a gelatinous sheet. Okay, a gelatinous sheet means a sheet is a covering. Okay, so a covering which is made up of gelatin that surrounds the colony. For example, these are the cells of the colony. So they will be surrounded by a gelatinous sheet, a sheet which is made up of gelatin. Now, for the filamentous blue-green algae or for the filamentous cyanobacteria, filamentous, as I told you, they will be a long filament-like structure. So for them, they have a special type of cell which is known as heterocyst present in them. And this heterocyst enables them to do the nitrogen fixation. This happens in the case of Anabina and Nostoc. These are the names of the organism. The example of cyanobacteria is Nostoc and Anabina. Now, the heterocyst is responsible for nitrogen fixation. It is a special cell. Apart from that, all the other cells are known as vegetative cells. So, due to the presence of heterocyst, they can fix atmospheric nitrogen. The heterocyst has, like the enzyme which is present in the heterocyst is known as nitrogenase enzyme. This enzyme helps in the process of nitrogen fixation. Is it clear? Hmm?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Any doubts up until now?
No, ma'am.
I don't know what is happening to my screen. It's getting stuck. Is my screen visible to you, Stu?
No, ma'am. Only edit.
All right, now moving forward, there is the chemosynthetic autotrophic. Up until now, because of the presence of chlorophyll A, the type of, you can say, nutrition can be considered as photosynthetic autotrophic. But later on, when the chemicals are used instead of the photon or the light, then we call that as the photosynthetic autotrophic mode of nutrition. Is it clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Jesslyn, am I audible to you?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, good evening, Jesslyn.
Good evening, ma'am.
Listen, what were we do? Like, where did we left off in the previous class?
1 second, ma'am.
Just check and tell me. Now, talking about the chemosynthetic autotrophic mode of nutrition, here certain chemicals are used for preparation of the food, oxidation of inorganic substances, and then they use this energy for the release, like for the process of formation of ATP. So for the formation of ATP, this particular chemicals are used, certain inorganic substances, and we call that type of mode of nutrition as chemosynthetic autotrophic mode of nutrition. Now, what are those inorganic substrates that are taken? We take nitrates, nitrites, and ammonia. They recycle the nitrogen, phosphorus, iron, and sulfur. So these are all the characteristics of the chemosynthetic autotrophic organisms. Okay, now the students that are joining right now, I like sort imagine like get this as a revision. Okay, and because 2 new students are joining our batch, so I'm just quickly giving them a review of what I've already taught to you people. Now tell me where did we left off in the previous class, students? Sabiha, you only 10. Jesslyn, did you find it? Like, what was the last thing that I taught? Just tell me this thing. Have I completed the Kingdom Monera?
We're doing, yeah, ma'am. We completed Kingdom Monera.
I have taught you the whole Kingdom Monera, right?
Yes, ma'am.
So I have to start Kingdom Protista today. All of these things I've taught you. Because I don't remember. That is why I'm asking you.
No, this one we wrote until like the fourth kingdom. We wrote that and like Monera and everything. And like the time was running out, so you told us to take a screenshot so you can complete the notes.
Okay, so we have done up until the characteristics of Monera, right?
Yes.
Archaebacteria and eubacteria are done?
No, ma'am.
No. Okay. So you people have written till here, till the mode of nutrition.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. All right. Okay, then Geobita and Hashid, you people are caught up well in time. Okay, we have actually completed whatever I've taught you, like whatever I've taught them in the previous classes. Now you have actually learned extra only. Okay. Now, okay, everyone switch on your videos. Why only one student has to switch on her video? Why not others?
Ma'am, I'm facing internet issue, so I'll be fixing it today.
Okay. What about the others? He is facing internet issues. Then Geobita, Jesslyn, Zainab, come on, quickly switch on your videos. Show me your faces. It's better when I see you. So I understand, like, okay, if like I teach you something and your faces are like, then I understand that you have not understood what I've taught. So that is why I ask you people to switch on your videos. So everyone switch on your videos. Come on, quick. Yes, Jesslyn, you can take 5 minutes. Sure, it's fine. But ultimately switch on your video. Zanab also has internet issue. Fix your internet, students. All right. See, the kingdom Monera, it has subgroups of certain bacteria. Okay. It has archaebacteria, it has eubacteria, and lastly, it has the different, the mycoplasma is also there. Now, see, normally we have discussed earlier that the kingdom Monera organisms or the members of the kingdom Monera, they have a cell wall present in them, which is made up of peptidoglycan. But the cell wall is present in all the members of the kingdom Monera except archaebacteria and mycoplasma. These two groups, they do not have the cell wall present in. So we'll discuss about archaebacteria first. Now see, archaebacteria are those organisms that survive in harsh conditions. They can withstand like multiple unbearable conditions and they can live in that. So archaebacteria, because of the absence of cell wall, they can survive in such harsh conditions. Now, the different types of archaebacteria. See, the archaebacteria that are living in the high salt concentration, they are known as the halophytes. Okay, their name. Halo means halogens, everyone has studied? No, you people have right now entered class 11th, right? Okay. See, halogens are salt contain, like they are a different group of elements. Okay. You might have studied in periodic table. Have you people studied that in chemistry? The periodic table?
And it was omitted last year for 10th.
Oh, it was omitted. Okay. Anyway, see, for all those areas that have a really high salt concentration, it's not possible for normal cell to survive. Okay. But archaebacteria, since they are very unique because they do not have a cell wall present in them. So with that being said, they can survive in the harsh conditions. So those organisms or those archaebacteria that can survive in high salt concentration, we'll call them as halophytes. Okay. Now, those archaebacteria that can survive in hot springs. Everyone knows what springs are? The hot water bodies that naturally occur on Earth, the hot water bodies. So some bacteria are present even in those, like in the hot springs, the temperature can be above even 100 degrees Celsius. And the bacteria that live there, they can survive. So those bacteria that live in the hot springs, they are the thermoacidophiles. Then lastly, there are the ones that live in marshy areas. The bacteria that live in marshy areas, they are known as methanogens. Now, methanogens are those that are, apart from marshy areas, they are also present in the gut. This plus sign means present. They are also present in the gut or digestive system, in the gut or the digestive system of the cows and buffaloes. So what they do is that they produce methane. Has anyone ever heard about this thing, methane gas? Or it is also known as, has anyone heard about biogas plant? Anyone?
No, ma'am.
No, no one has. See, what happens in villages, like since in villages there are many cows and buffaloes and everything. So once the cows and buffaloes, they have, excreted out. So what the people of the villages do, they collect the dung, the cow dung, they collect it and they put it into a big tanks. Okay. And in that, because of the presence of methanogens, methane is produced. And this methane is used as fuel. Okay. So this methane is produced by the methanogens. So you people have understood what are the three different types of archaebacteria?
Yes, ma'am.
Is the cell wall present in archaebacteria or absent?
Absent.
Very good. Now the next group of bacteria that comes under the kingdom Monera is eubacteria. The word eu, wherever it is given, it means true. Now, eubacteria, they have a rigid cell wall present. A cell wall is present in them. Apart from a cell wall, they also have flagella for mobility, for motility, so that these bacteria can move from one place to another. So they have flagella present. Clear? So two things are present in the eubacteria. The first one is a rigid cell wall. And what is the cell wall of the kingdom Monera made up of? The cell wall is made up of? Say.
Silica.
Hmm?
Silica.
Who said silica?
Ma'am, eukaryotes.
No, eukaryotes are organisms. I am asking what is the what is the cell wall of Monera made up of? It is made up of peptidoglycan, students. Peptidoglycan. Always remember this. And what is the cell wall of plants made up of?
Cellulose.
Cellulose. Okay. So the cell wall of plants is made up of cellulose and the cell wall of bacteria is made up of peptidoglycan. Peptidoglycan. This is what the cell wall of bacteria is made up of. Now tell me, students, what is the difference between prokaryotes and eukaryotes? Who can explain this nicely? You should know the difference between them. Prokaryotes and eukaryotes. Tell me. Who can explain it? This is important to understand before moving forward with the chapter. So first you people tell me what is prokaryotes and eukaryotes.
Ma'am, eukaryotes are organisms having membrane-bound structures. Membrane. Having membrane.
But membrane bound nucleus. First thing to remember. Yes. Membrane bound nucleus and membrane bound cell organelles. If these two things are present in the organism, then that organism is eukaryotic organism. But if it is absent, then that organism becomes prokaryotic organism. Clear? So you can write it down that here nucleus is not,
Like we wrote before, you told us to note that down.
you did? Everyone did note it down and then you can't answer. Huh? The nucleus is not bounded by a membrane. There is no membrane that surrounds the nucleus. You people understand what is the meaning of nucleus being bounded by a membrane? What does it mean? What does it mean? Nucleus being bounded by a membrane. Can you explain this? See, I'll take this example. Can you see this bottle? Oh, is it? Can you see this bottle? Okay. Now, do you see that it has a covering on it? This covering? Okay. So if you consider this transparent part of the bottle as the nucleus, okay, and this transparent part of the bottle is surrounded by a cover. Okay. This background is making it hard, but this bottle is surrounded by a cover. Okay. This cover is the membrane. Okay. A membrane surrounds the nucleus. Okay. And that is known as a membrane bound nucleus. Whenever the nucleus will be surrounded by any membrane, membrane is a layer, then that becomes a membrane bound anything. Anything which is surrounded by a membrane becomes membrane bound. Clear? So when I say membrane bound nucleus, that means that nucleus is surrounded by a membrane. So in the prokaryotes, it is not surrounded by a membrane, and in the eukaryote, it is 100% surrounded by the membrane. So in the eubacteria, the cell wall is present, right? And the cell wall is made up of peptidoglycan. Now, the flagella is also present. See, for example, if this is a cell, flagella is like this. And this flagella is a tail-like structure that will help the bacteria to move. So for motility, okay, for motility or mobility, the flagella is present. These two characters are present in the eubacteria. Now, the eubacteria can either be photosynthetic autotrophs or it can be chemosynthetic autotrophs. Talking about photosynthetic autotrophic mode, here photosynthesis everyone understands. It is the process by which food is made using the sunlight, chlorophyll, and water, and carbon dioxide also, right? This much everyone understands?
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. I'm drinking water from my nucleus now. Now see. So the members of the eubacteria, they have this chlorophyll present. Chlorophyll is normally present in plants, right? But some members of the eubacteria, they have the chlorophyll present in them, and these chlorophyll helps them to photosynthesize. Now, one example of the eubacteria is cyanobacteria or the blue-green algae. The name, like, it can be used synonymously. It can either be cyanobacteria or you can call it as blue-green algae. Now, they can be present in a unicellular form, in a colonial form, or in a filamentous form. Everyone knows the difference between unicellular, colonial, and filamentous, right? When it is unicellular means one cell is there. When it is colonial, multiple cells form a colony. When it is filamentous, it is a thread-like, filament-like structure. Now, the cyanobacteria, according to the habitat, habitat means where they live. So, according to the habitat, they can be of three types. They can either be found in the fresh water. Fresh water means that is not salty, right? So, that is fresh water. Now, the cyanobacteria can also be found in the marine areas. Marine means the water that has the salt present. Fresh water means such as ponds, lake, all of these don't have salt. But marine water such as the sea and the ocean, they have the salt present in them. So the cyanobacteria can be present here also. Lastly, they can also be terrestrial, meaning they can live on land as well. Now, if the cyanobacteria is in the form of a colony, then it is surrounded by a sheath. A sheath means a layer. Okay, sheath means a layer. So when a colony is present, so it is surrounded by a gelatinous sheath, a sheath which is made up of gelatin. Okay, and see this, if you see it like this, it is a filamentous bacteria, right? Filamentous shape is there if I'm talking about this. So the filamentous shape, it has two types of cells present. The first cell is the vegetative cell, which are the normal cells. Then there is the special cell, which is known as heterocyst. Okay, heterocyst is a very special cell, and this cell, it can fix the atmospheric nitrogen, meaning nitrogen fixation can be done by the heterocyst. The heterocysts, they have an enzyme which is known as nitrogenase present in them that helps in the process of nitrogen fixation. Is this much clear to you, students?
Yes, ma'am.
Any doubts? Okay, now as you're seeing here also, even if we are talking about the blue-green algae, which is a filamentous shape, so that is also surrounded by a gelatinous sheath. This gelatinous sheath or the mucilage sheath will be present. The examples of cyanobacteria or the blue-green algae are nostoc and anabina. Clear? So up until now, we have discussed the photosynthetic autotrophic and we have also discussed the blue-green algae. Now let us talk about the chemosynthetic autotrophic mode of nutrition. Now, the oxidation of inorganic substances. See, in photosynthesis, light is used. In chemosynthesis, certain chemicals will be used. What are those chemicals? Those chemicals are inorganic substances and they are used for the formation of ATP. Now, what are those inorganic substances that are used? They are nitrates, nitrites, ammonia. These can be used in the chemosynthetic autotrophic process. So up until now, we have discussed phototropism and chemotropism. And apart from that, we have also discussed the different types of bacteria that come under the kingdom Monera. Now tell me if you have any doubts anywhere.
No, ma'am.
No, ma'am.
No doubts are there?
No, ma'am.
Okay, now you people can note down and then we'll start with the heterotrophic mode. Now, in general, I'm asking you people know the difference between heterotrophic and autotrophic mode of nutrition?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, can someone explain? What is the difference between heterotrophic and autotrophic mode of nutrition? Anyone? First explain autotrophic. No one? No one? Quick. Anyone can
In
answer.
autotrophic, they like produce like the food from like the nutrition from like water and carbon dioxide.
Okay. And what is heterotrophic? It's okay. It's all right. You people can give it a try. Your answer does not have to be perfect. I just want to know that you people have an idea. Okay. Anyone apart from Sabiha, can someone tell me what is heterotrophic mode of nutrition?
That's the type of nutrition where organisms depend on other organisms for survival of food.
Correct. So see, Everyone might have studied this in class 10th, right? This was there, isn't it? So, autotrophic mode of nutrition is when the organism can prepare their own food with the usage of either light or with the usage of the chemicals. But heterotrophic mode of nutrition is when the organisms cannot make their own food and they are dependent upon the autotrophs for their nutrition. Clear? Everyone now knows the difference between autotrophic and heterotrophic mode of nutrition?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Now you people can note down and then we'll begin with the heterotrophic mode of nutrition. Now no one will take screenshots. Since the class is going on, now you people can write it down.
Okay, ma'am.
ഈ ടേബിൾ ഞാൻ എടുക്കാം കേട്ടോ.
Everyone's done?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
കേറിരിക്കെ. Ma'am, can you please scroll down?
Everyone will draw this, okay? This thing. It can be asked in many questions, so you draw this, okay? So that you have a practice. See, flagella is an extension of the cell. For example, if this is a cell, there is an extension of the cell, which is known as flagella, and it helps, it's sort of like a tail-like structure, and it helps the organism to move. So since bacteria, they are unicellular, so it is just one cell. So this cell can move with the help of the flagella, and it is a tail-like structure that helps in the mobility. It helps in the movement. Done, students?
Ma'am, can you scroll?
Yes.
Yeah.
Done, ma'am.
Everyone's done?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Okay, very good. Okay, now continuing, we'll be talking about the heterotrophic bacteria. Now, as I said, that heterotrophic mode of nutrition is the one in which the organism cannot make its own food. Now, majority of the heterotrophic bacteria, they are decomposers. Decomposers means they feed on the dead and decaying matter. Now, the heterotrophic bacteria are very important for us humans because they are helpful in making very, you can say, compounds for us, such as there are some bacteria that help in the making of curd from milk. That is the lactobacillus or the lactic acid bacteria. Lactic acid bacteria. This bacteria is a heterotrophic bacteria and it can make curd from milk. Now, there are some bacteria that help in the production of antibiotics, meaning the medicine, such as the streptomyces bacteria. Then there are some bacteria that help in the nitrogen fixation. Nitrogen fixation in the roots of leguminous plants, such as the rhizobium. See, these are the examples. Now, there are many bacteria that cause serious diseases in the case of humans, such as tetanus, pneumonia, plague, tuberculosis, leprosy, cholera, diphtheria, typhoid, citrus canker. All of these are the diseases that are caused in the humans by the bacteria. Now, apart from causing diseases in humans, the bacteria also cause diseases in the animals, such as the diseases in the cattle, in the cows and buffaloes, the anthrax, botulism. These are the names of the disease that are caused in the cattle by the bacteria. And these bacteria are again heterotrophic bacteria. So up until now, we have discussed and learned about the different modes of nutrition in bacteria. Now moving forward, we'll talk about the reproduction in bacteria. Now the main mode of reproduction in the case of bacteria is fission. What happens in the fission? In the fission, the cell divides into two cells. First of all, what happens is that, okay, the outer wall is the cell wall. Inside there is the cytoplasm and then there is the genetic material. Now, initially the genetic material starts dividing and it separates into the two different poles. It starts dividing and goes to the two different poles. Then slowly the cell starts dividing and then ultimately the cells divide and forms two cells. So from one cell only, two cells are produced. So this method of reproduction is known as fission. Okay, first the genetic material divides. First, the genetic material means the DNA. So first the genetic material divides and then the cytoplasm or the cell divides. Okay, slowly what happens is that the cell wall, like for example, if this is a cell, okay, if this is a cell, now slowly the cell will start pinching it like this towards the center, ultimately leading to the formation of two different cells. So this is what happens in the case of fission. Is everyone is like, is it clear to everyone?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Now, always remember that the process of this thing, the fission, it will happen under favorable condition. Favorable condition means when nutrients and all the perfect condition is present. Okay, whenever the perfect condition is present, then the bacteria would reproduce by fission. But just in case the nutrient is not there, the space is not there, so then the bacteria will divide by the process of spore formation. In this process, the cell of the bacteria gets the formation of endospore. Endo means inside, this like the spore which is formed inside the cell of the bacteria is known as endospore. So for example, if this is a cell of bacteria, okay, this is the plasma membrane and it is surrounded by a cell membrane. Now inside this is the genetic material. Now the spore formation, first of all, an endospore will be formed inside the cell of the bacteria, which will contain multiple spores. And when this will release, it will release multiple spores. So this is what happens in the spore formation. Now, the spore formation and the fission, both of these are the asexual methods of reproduction. But the bacteria also have one sexual mode of reproduction, which is known as transduction. Transduction is the process of DNA transfer. Here, the primitive DNA transfer from one bacteria to another bacteria takes place with the help of a virus, which is known as bacteriophage. So a virus is there, which is known as a bacteriophage. It looks like this. Now, what does it do is that it comes and sits on the cell of the bacteria. Okay. And it can be used to transfer the DNA of this bacteria into the another bacteria. And this process is known as transduction, and it is a method of sexual reproduction. So for the reproduction in bacteria, we have three methods. Two of them are asexual, one is sexual. Is the reproduction in bacteria clear to everyone?
Yes.
Mom, for the sexual reproduction, it is like a rare one, or it happens?
No, it can happen. If the bacteria wants to reproduce by sexual reproduction, it can happen. Only spore formation is unfavorable. It happens in the unfavorable condition. Okay. Now talking about mycoplasma. Now initially I said that all the monerans will have cell wall present in them except for archaebacteria and mycoplasma. So now we are going to discuss mycoplasma. Now, organisms that lack the cell wall, they are the smallest living organism. They are very small, that their size is like 0.3 micrometer. And they can survive without oxygen. So they are anaerobic. Those organisms that can survive without oxygen or any process that happens in the absence of oxygen, that is anaerobic. But when it happens in the presence of oxygen, that becomes aerobic. Now, mycoplasma, they are not of any use to human beings, but they cause many diseases. The example, the most famous example of mycoplasma is Mycoplasma gallisepticum. This is the greatest example of mycoplasma. Mycoplasma gallisepticum. So with this, we have completed the whole entire kingdom Monera. Now tell me, students, if you have any doubts, anything that you want to ask me. Nothing? Everything is clear to you all?
Yes, ma'am.
Very good. All right. Now you people can note down, and then we'll start a new kingdom today, that is the kingdom Protista. It is much more interesting as compared to kingdom Monera. Okay. So you first note down these things, and then we'll move on. Which shape part, Zanab? The types of Monera on the basis of their shapes.
Yes, ma'am.
See, the whole entire kingdom Monera can be divided into 4 types on the basis of the shape. If they are circular, then that is coccus. If they are rod shaped, then that is bacillus. If they are comma-like, then that is vibrio. And if they are spiral, then that is spirillum. So the type, the name of the bacteria, if the shape is circular, is Coccus. If it is rod shape, then that is Bacillus. And if it is comma shape, then that is Vibrio. And if it is spiral shape, then that is Spirillum. That's it. Clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Everyone's done?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes,
Yes.
ma'am.
Ma'am, can you scroll up?
This part is done.
No, ma'am, scroll up.
Everyone's done?
Yes, ma'am.
No, ma'am. No, ma'am.
Okay, okay.
Yes, ma'am. Done.
Ma'am, can you please scroll down?
You done?
Yes, ma'am.
Everyone's done?
No, ma'am.
No, ma'am.
Okay, okay, okay.
Ma'am, can you scroll? Done.
Everyone's done?
No, ma'am.
Done, ma'am.
All right. Everyone's done?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Now we'll move on to the next kingdom, that is the kingdom Protista. Now, in this kingdom, all the organisms are eukaryotic, but they are single cell, meaning they are unicellular eukaryotic. So if anyone asks you like which kingdom contains the unicellular eukaryotic organism, so you would say the kingdom Protista. Now, the organisms in the kingdom Protista, they are single cell. Now, there are further many groups that are present in the kingdom Protista. There is chrysophytes, there is euglenoids, protozoans, dinoflagellates, and slime molds. Now, talking about the kingdom Protista, so unicellular eukaryotic organisms are there, membrane-bound nucleus and membrane-bound cell organelles are present because it is a eukaryotic organism. Now, habitat is mostly aquatic. They are found in the water. Some have flagella and cilia present. If the members of the Protista can move from one place to another, so they will have flagella present. And for those that cannot move, they will not have flagella present. Now, reproduction is of two types, asexual and sexual. The sexual reproduction takes place by cell fusion and zygote formation. We'll talk about how each of these things happens. Now, to start with, we have the chrysophytes, which is the first group that comes under the kingdom Protista. Now, under the chrysophytes, it contains diatoms and golden algae. Okay, diatoms and desmids. The other name for golden algae is desmids. So diatoms and desmids are present in the chrysophytes. Talking about their habitat, so they are freshwater and marine water both. So they are found in the salt containing water, that is marine, and they are also found in the water body that does not contain any salt. Their size is microscopic. They are not visible to the naked eye. To see them, we have to use microscope. Now they float in the water current. They, like the chrysophytes, can also be called as planktons. Everyone knows about planktons? Has anyone here seen SpongeBob SquarePants? Anyone? The cartoon SpongeBob SquarePants? Yeah. So
Yes, ma'am.
they show a life under the sea, isn't it? Yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
So, every single organism or every single character they have shown in that cartoon, whether it is SpongeBob, whether it is Patrick, right? And then there is Squidward, isn't it? All of these organisms are there. All of them are actually present in the sea life. Now, have you seen that green one that sort of looks like this? It is sort of like a villain. in that cartoon. I don't know what's the name, but they are planktons. See, planktons are microscopic structures, okay? They are protista. Okay, so imagine in the cartoon also they are showing protista. So imagine how high level cartoon you people watch, you people have watched. I mean, I have, grown watching SpongeBob SquarePants. Now I will tell you, just remember one thing. Right now we are doing biological classification, right? When we will do animal kingdom, just remind me about SpongeBob SquarePants. Anyone, okay? While I'm teaching you that chapter, just remind me about SpongeBob. I'll show you pictures and I'll show you which organism we are studying. So it's your duty, remember, okay? You remind me because I'll forget. So remind me, when we'll compare it like that, it'll be very interesting. So that plankton, the green thing that is shown, it is shown in a very smaller size there also in the cartoon, right? So that is plankton. Now, what is a plankton? It is the microscopic protista that is known as chrysophyte that literally floats in the water currents. Now, the mode of nutrition in the kingdom protista is photosynthesis, meaning all of the members are autotrophic in nature. They can make their own food. Now, as I told you that the chrysophytes, it contains two types of organisms. The first one is diatom. The second one is golden algae or desmids. Now, talking about diatom. Now, it is important that the cell wall of the diatoms, it is made up of silica. Now, silica is a very hard substance. It is very indestructible. So, if a cell wall is made up of silica, it means that the cell wall cannot be destroyed easily, right? So, the cell wall looks like a soap box. Now, if we see the diatoms in this, like under the microscope, so the whole body or the cell wall will sort of look like a soap box. That is, they have overlapping shells. They have one epitheca, the top shell, and then it is surrounded by a hypotheca, which is the lowermost. It sort of looks like a box, so it is like a soap box. Now, diatoms are the chief producers in the ocean. The producers, does anyone know the meaning of producers? You might have studied this in class 10. What are producers, consumers? Remember? For those students who I taught, do you remember producer, consumer, primary consumer, secondary consumer?
Bringing up,
Hmm?
bringing up,
Bringing up.
making of something.
Yeah, producers are those organisms that are autotrophic, meaning they make food for the entire, you can say, the place where they live in, whether it is the land or the water. The ones like on land, the producers are plants. In water, the producers are diatoms. Clear? So we'll keep it till here only today. And then in the next class, we'll continue. But till then, you people note down. Also, did you people understand the kingdom protista up till where I've taught?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, now you people can note down.
Ma'am, can you please scroll down?
Everyone's done?
No, ma'am.
Okay, okay. First complete, then I'll speak.
Done, ma'am.
Done, students?
Yes, ma'am.
Done, ma'am.
Everyone's done?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
All right. Okay, then let's just keep it till here only for today. Now, in the next class, we'll continue with the diatoms only, and then we'll complete the chrysophyte. Up until now, do you people have any doubts?
No,
No,
ma'am.
ma'am.
Okay. All right. So the homework will be sent to you after the class is done, and you do that homework. Okay. I'll be checking the homework. And if you do have any doubts in any of the topic or any of the question, then you can ask me in the next class. Okay, students? Also, from
Okay.
the next class, please make